Worst box office ever. Okay, maybe not ever, but it was the worst box office opening of 2019 and the worst combined of the top 12 films since September of 2017. That's crazy. So this past weekend, there weren't that many new movies that opened up, and the movies that are out were pretty much far along in their run where they didn't make that much money. So the top 12 films that came out this past weekend, they made a combined under $55 million. So that is not too hot of a job. And there is actually one movie coming out this weekend that will crack those top 12 and beat that $55 million with just this one opening. Let's talk numbers. Hello and welcome to Rich Girl Reviews. My name is Josiah and my channel is all about movies and box office predictions. This week it's the weekend of February 1st through the 3rd, and I'm actually going to talk about what happened this past weekend over the Super Bowl weekend. So let's dive right into things. First off, in 5th place, that is a movie that has been pretty far along in this run. It's actually in its 8th week now, and it's been doing really, really well. And that movie is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It had, this weekend, it made $4.4 million, which, it doesn't sound that great, but for this far along in its run, it's actually doing a pretty good job with just about a 30% drop. And next up on my list is Aquaman. Aquaman opened up strong a while ago, and this weekend it's continuing to make waves. And this weekend actually, it had $4.5 million that it made at the box office. Next up, we have a new movie that just came out, and I didn't throw this movie on my list because I haven't seen great marketing for it. I didn't even see a trailer for this movie advertised, so I didn't really think a lot of people would go out to see it. And I was right in the sense that not a lot of people want to see it, but obviously there were more than want to see it. And that movie is Miss Bala. So this movie ended up making around $6.7 million. It's its first weekend. Not great opening. It's not getting tremendous reviews, and it didn't open in a lot of theaters either, so that kind of plays into it, but that's kind of where we are with that. And second up on the list is The Upside. The Upside this is a second week in a row that it's at the number 2 spot behind the number 1 movie, which you may already know what it is, but the number 2 movie, The Upside, made $8.85 million this past weekend with a 25% drop in its 4th weekend. So again, Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart are continuing a strong run. And in first place, you probably guessed it, it's Glass. It's the interesting thing, this weekend it made $9.5 million at the box office domestically, which was a little bit less than a 50% drop in its 3rd week. Not great. This movie is doing okay, but it doesn't really have that great legs in going into things. Maybe in the next 2 weeks it can pick that up a little bit. Maybe it's a decent date night movie that some couples were waiting to go see, and maybe that's when it will continue to do well. But it's actually doing worse than Split did at the box office, which is pretty much a good film to compare it to because same franchise, same month of release, and Split's just, for whatever reason, one or another, it's just doing a lot better. So you have that there. The one thing I want to note is actually in 6th place, a movie that just missed my list, that I had on my list, is Green Book. So I predicted that this movie was going to make $4 million, and it actually ended up making $4.3 million at the box office. So I was really close, and the rest of my predictions weren't too far off either, especially with The Upside and Glass. Even Aquaman and Spider-Verse did relatively well, and I predicted them very spot on. So let's get into next week's predictions. Next week is going to be a pretty good week at the box office, actually. It's going to be a weekend to look forward to. I'll be out at the movie theater. I'm sure a lot of you guys will too. It's the weekend of February 8th through the 10th, and there are a few new movies opening. The Lego Movie is one of them. Cold Pursuit, which is Liam Neeson's new movie, and What Men Want. So those are the 3 big releases coming out next weekend, and let's dive into where I think they're going to land. So in 5th place, I have Miss Bala. I didn't have it on my list last weekend, but I have it here just because I struggled whether it was going to be Spider-Verse, Aquaman, or Miss Bala. I actually think that fighting for that 6th spot will be one of the most interesting, because we could see Spider-Verse outtake Aquaman, which that would be the first time it's happened so far in its run. But in fifth place, Miss Bala, $4 million. It's going to have about a 60% drop, just from my predictions. In fourth place, dropping from the number one spot, is going to be Glass. So Glass is going to make around that $5 million mark. It's, as I said, it's doing a little bit worse than Split. It may even make a little bit under that $5 million range, but going from 9 to 5, that's a decent drop for it in its fourth week. So that's where I have Glass. And so I actually have the top 3 new movies coming out. They're in my top 3 spots. So where do they land? Well, in number 3, I have What Men Want. So this is a new movie coming out. To be honest, I don't know much about it. I'm kind of relating it a little bit to like the Tyler Perry type of movies, where I don't know how well it's going to do at the box office. It may open around $11-12 million, which is around where those Tyler Perry movies open, and that's just because I don't think there's a lot of buzz around this movie with what's coming out. It's a little bit of counter programming with the other 2 releases, but it hasn't had great reviews. There's no Rotten Tomatoes score yet, but it has a 2 out of 10 on IMDb right now, so not very great. But in number 2 is where I have Liam Neeson's new movie. So Liam Neeson is a snowplow driver, and he's out for revenge for his son's death. So does that movie sound familiar? Well, that's what a lot of the Liam Neeson movies are, is Liam Neeson out for revenge. And so this movie is Cold Pursuit, and that is going to open to around $28 million. So $28 million for the Liam Neeson movie Cold Pursuit. And I have this around there because Taken 2 and 3 both made around that $28 to $35 million range. I don't think it's going to do as well as those movies. Interestingly enough, Taken opened to just $24 million. Now, of course, that was a relatively unknown film at the time. It was an original concept, and Taken 2 and 3, came out and made it Liam Neeson into a franchise, and all these other movies made Liam Neeson into his own movie genre. So that's where we are right now with Cold Pursuit. And at number 1, easily the number 1 movie of February 8th, opening up, is the Lego Movie 2, the second part. So Lego Movie 2, of course, Chris Pratt stars as the main character, and a lot of the other characters are returning to this fun animated Lego movie. And this movie came out a couple years ago, and there have been some subsequent movies released, Lego Ninjago, Lego Batman, that have also done very well at the box office. I have this movie at $70 million opening, and I think that's very doable for this movie. There's not a lot of great movies coming out next weekend, and this is, counter programming to Cold Pursuit, What Men Want, even a Glass. This is more in the range of like a Spider-Verse, but a lot of people who have seen Spider-Verse, a lot of people have already seen that, where a lot of people may not have seen the Lego Movie 2. Obviously, it's brand new. So the Lego Movie opened to $69 million, whereas Lego Batman opened to $53 million. So a little bit of a drop-off for whatever reason in that opening weekend. Both February releases. This movie, I think, the Lego Batman movie, there were people that they didn't necessarily know it was connected to the Lego Movie, whereas they know this is the sequel. Kids are going to come out to see this movie in droves, parents with them. I'll be out there at the box office as well to see the Lego Movie 2. So that's it for this week's box office predictions. 5th place, Miss Bala. 4th is Glass. 3, What Men Want, opening around $11-12 million. Cold Pursuit, $28 million, and the Lego Movie 2 at $70 million. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my list? Do you think the Lego Movie can beat $70 million? Leave your comments below. Let me know, what will Lego Movie 2 open to this weekend? Give me your numbers down below. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about the numbers. And if you guys like this video and my box office predictions, give it a share with your friends and let them know. Get the numbers people in here, and subscribe so you can always be updated on what's coming up next. Thanks for watching.